This is Carter, played by actor Finn Little on Yellowstone, and he's doing something that left a specific group of Yellowstone fans going crazy. If you didn't watch episode 12, Counting Coup, save this video for later and keep moving along because I'm going to spoil the ending in about 3 seconds. Okay, we good? Well, we are. Colby is not.
When I push him back, you crawl out as fast as you can. You ready?
The most likable cowboy in the bunkhouse was killed, and my 7 stages of grief went backwards this week, from acceptance to anger and sadness. Watch Carter again. Do you see what he's doing or not doing? Y'all, the kid could have prevented all of this. Heck, if anyone investigated, Rip, Lloyd, and the Dutton Ranch would be in big trouble for straight up negligence. Okay, let's drill down, and the best place to do that is in the comments section. Subscribers may recall that last week I promised to include your comments, questions, etc. And DHello1177 has a great point. Not even the kid would go deep into a stall with a horse like that. Besides, since when did we start placing water buckets to the back of the stall? Please. You can see there are even more angry comments. Air, Wind, Fire says, looked after an angry horse, and if her water needed topping up, the hose went over the door. Sioux Village Gomez 2699 agrees that, quote, any horse person would have known this. Shame on Taylor for this mess. Shame! Okay, full disclosure, grew up near Detroit, didn't even think about it, but, right? I mean, Carter, at most, open the door, scooch the water bucket in, and get out of there, buddy. If you're saying, so what? It's done with. Don't leave yet, because I think this scene actually foreshadowed how Season 5 ends and what's going to happen after Season 5. You remember those rumors about Rip and Beth continuing Yellowstone Season 6? I think they could be true, and I think this moment is critical to that happening. There are just 2 more episodes of Yellowstone remaining. 2! And I think if nothing else, we all agree that this Beth versus Jamie score needs to be settled, and we need to have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen to the Yellowstone Ranch afterward. We should start on a road to those 2 answers by the end of episode 13, airing on December 8th on Paramount Network. The second question is easier, and it's best illustrated by 2 clips. First, Beth and Rip in bed in Texas from episode 11.
Imagine all the things that we could do if we weren't shackled to that ranch.
Then, last week when Kayce made his choice. It's going to be family over ranch for him.
I just want to be close to you.
I'll be at home. Unless this is our home.
No, here's not our home.
This leaves no Dutton heir that wants this ranch. I mean, nobody. However, Chief Rainwater's people very much still do, which brings me to the most popular email and YouTube comment from this season, the 7 Generations conversation from Yellowstone prequel 1883. In it, well, just go ahead and watch for yourself.
In 7 generations, my people will rise up and take it back from you.
In 7 generations, you can have it.
Dutton family tree math is a really dark rabbit hole, but most people agree that Tate is the 7th generation, and that's why I think in the end, the Native Americans will end up with the ranch. Not sure how yet, but this would free up Beth and Rip to move wherever they want. Maybe even to Texas to work the 4-6's ranch. This all maths because the official description for episode 13 says Beth and Travis make a deal. Travis is the horse trainer played by Taylor Sheridan, who lives in Texas.
Well, if I were you, I wouldn't want to wrestle with this by myself. I'd want to be with my family.
I don't got a family.
Sure you do.
Carter is now family, which means in this scenario he has to go with Beth and Rip, which circles us back to why Colby had to die. And shout out to Fam Pitchler, 1 for the theory. Colby had to die to make Carter grow up, and that totally makes sense, right? If Carter is family and the family keeps living, his character needs to be a bit more well-rounded or developed. So many people said that Colby's death did nothing, but that's absolutely not true. It did advance Carter and Beth's relationship, and the only reason to do that with so little time remaining on this show would be if another show was going to follow. You with me? Comment below. The Beth vs. Jamie score is a little bit more complicated because if you think about it, Jamie's boxed in. His girlfriend is dead, his boss is trying to distance himself from him, his family hates him, his child and his child's mother, nobody's heard from them in years. Jamie doesn't even have like a good bar buddy to offer a shoulder. I found this scene of him shredding documents Sarah's documents really informative. It tells me he's trying to hide that she was working with Markwood Equities to get the airport built. If the police find that out, everything he's trying to undo would be ruined. This could be true. If Jamie gets arrested, there is no way Beth can get to him. Or is there? What if Jamie gets arrested and he doesn't start spilling Dutton family secrets, but Markwood Equities secrets? In this scenario, the killing would be tied back to Markwood Equities, and surely the Duttons could file a civil lawsuit against them for greenlighting a hit on their father. That would save the ranch and ensure an airport never gets built. It would also end this fight between Jamie and Beth without either dying, but Jamie likely in jail. I think I'd be okay with that because there's no way that Beth or Rip kill the serving attorney general and remain free. Notice I said Beth or Rip because I believe Kayce will stray from his sister's plan. That was foreshadowed here.
Can you ask Kayce to join me on the porch when he's done?
He left.
Left where?
By choosing his nuclear family, Kayce's going against Beth in a small but significant way. He's not here to risk his life for the ranch any longer, and killing Jamie would definitely do that. Once again, the official episode 13 description allows that, and reading Kayce has an idea about the future of the ranch. He's typically an out-of-the-box thinker, right? I've made these predictions in the order of most to least likely, and this last one is probably a stretch, but doesn't it feel like we're getting a death a day on this show? Sarah, Colby, who's next? I think it's Lloyd, and here's why. First of all, he's an older, sympathetic character who really isn't sure how he'll survive without their Yellowstone ranch, but I think like Colby and Carter, Lloyd's death would allow Rip to grow. It'd set him free so that when Beth starts dreaming of moving away, there's no one left to anchor him to the Yellowstone. I wanted to add with 3 more questions from the email in the comments section. You can hit up staff@tasteofcountry.com to email. And my Dutton Rules podcast co-host Addison Hagar is joining me to ask these questions. Hey, Addison.
Hello, you staying warm over there, Billy?
No, I'm not.
This Texas gal over here has not acclimated to the cold quite yet. So if you see my breath come out during this video, it's because I am not made for this weather and I'm freezing.
Addison is my Dutton Rules podcast co-host, just moved to Nashville from Austin, and I thought it'd be fun to do a video version of the Q&A we do so often on the regular podcast towards the end.
I agree. And so for those who are, if you guys are avid listeners, but now you're watching on YouTube, which is so fun, you get to see our faces. We do exist. And so I have 3 questions that fans have sent in. And Billy, we're going to chit-chat about them if you're ready.
Yep, hit me.
Okay, the first one is, what was the point of Kayce threatening the assassin at the end of the show? What does it accomplish? Can someone explain?
Well, I think Kayce's worry was that the assassin was going to start coming after his family next.
I hear that, but I don't get that. Like, would he have really done that? That doesn't serve a purpose.
Well, if you remember, the original agreement between Sarah and Jamie was to go after Beth. And then maybe John. John's now gone. It's not too difficult to think that they might go after Beth, Kayce, Monica after that in an effort to sort of secure the land. It's a little bit of a leap for Kayce, but I think he's also was seeking revenge on his father's death to a certain point. So maybe kind of a double duty there. But it was a protection mode. He's decided he's going to protect his family over the ranch, so he's doing what he needed to do to strike first and count coup, as they call it.
The second one I have for us is, have I missed the bit where it's revealed that Sarah Atwood wasn't her real name? Beth took a photo of her ID, and then what? Amen, sister. Yeah. Or brother. I don't know if it was a male or female who sent this in, but no. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you haven't missed it. It never happened. That was just one of those Yellowstone loose ends. And we talk about this quite a bit in the podcast. They just sometimes are out there. And this goes to part 1 of season 5, where while Jamie and Sarah are getting busy in the bathroom stall, the shower, I forget exactly where they were, but it was not your traditional. Beth sneaks in and takes a peek of Sarah's ID and realizes somehow that Sarah Atwood is not her real name. But we never learn anything more from that because Beth soon gets distracted by Summer.
That is one that I will. This is my lug nut boy. Something that keeps you up at night. This kind of keeps me up at night. That I'm like, wait, what? Wait, why? I wanted to know. That's interesting.
Kayce putting the bomb in the Beck brothers' plane is another one of these. And gosh, we could probably come up with a half dozen to 10 of them.
But no one wants to listen to a 3-hour YouTube video. So I'm going to get us to the last one real quick so the last one I have for us is, did anyone notice that it said the season finale and not series finale?
Did you notice this? Did you notice this in the last? I don't think I did either. But it did. Enough people said it online that they, how at the end of every episode, they do that next week on Yellowstone.
Yes.
Well, they said one more episode until the season finale. They didn't say series finale. So Yellowstone fans, being Yellowstone fans, are thinking, oh, does that mean there's a new season coming? Or could it be season 6? Or what is this? Maybe, doubtfully. I don't have the energy to go there quite yet because we've chased so many of these sort of dead end roads. It's like, I need a little more evidence than that to get hopeful.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, I'm just between the loose ends that we have about, the ID, we can name that. They're just not always the most thorough, that I could see the editor accidentally just, producer throwing that word in and not remembering that they switched it the last tease. Yeah. That's kind of my thought.
Yeah, they do a good job with continuity physically with the characters, but in terms of plot lines, sometimes characters and things just sort of disappear. Like Laramie. We haven't seen Laramie at all this season. What happened to her? I don't know. She's gone.
You'll find out soon.
Oh?
Oh, and for anyone who's like, wait, how does Addison know? We do get screeners before the show actually drops. So that's all I'm going to say, but that is answered. You're
further ahead than me. Oh, that's cheeky. That is cheeky.
Couldn't sit here and lie. But that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Staff at tasteofcountry.com if you'd like to add an email, question, comment, concern, or just drop it right there in the comments section. And find us on the Dutton Rules podcast. Thank you, Addison.